what are some of the shocks that when you first heard about it, you go, hmm?
Oh gosh, I think the first shock is
Hi everyone. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. I will be interviewing my friend, who is the most recent person I've helped in getting on the property ladder here in London. We'll cover things such as how do we source for properties that are good value for money in the long term? How do we navigate the conveyancing process? What are some of the shocks that we experience in the conveyancing process? How do we overcome them? And also, how does he negotiate with his landlord, because he was renting before he moved into his first home? How does he negotiate with his landlord in terms of exiting the property? And how does he navigate and manage renovation when he's living in the property? So it's quite a fun interview, and I hope you can learn a lot from Andrew's journey. So today's a bit unique because it's not just me, it's my friend Andrew who bought his first property. It's the first property anywhere in the world. This is your first property ever. You finally got onto the property ladder, which is something that you wanted to do
yay!
for how long already?
For many years been thinking about it
Uh-huh.
and finally on the ladder.
Even when you were back in Singapore, you were already
Yes,
thinking about it.
yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, owning a home is like a common dream.
Mm.
I've been saving money, but there was never any um concrete plans about okay when this would ever happen. But then
Yeah.
when I moved to London about 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and about 1.5 2 years ago, I realized, oh, maybe this is quite a nice place to settle down in,
Yeah.
and I've been saving for a long time, and maybe this is enough for deposit. So yeah, I started on a journey, and it's been quite a long journey, but yeah, I'm here now.
So you pretty much started saving for your deposit from the day you started working.
Being very Singaporean is like you just want to save money. You don't know what is it for, but you just want the safety net, right?
Yes, yes. In Singapore, we have this term, right? Kiasu. It's like,
Yes, right.
yes, we're
Kiasu.
just gonna prepare for the inevitable. We don't know what it is, but we're just gonna be prepared.
Every situation, yes.
Yeah, I guess it's a double-edged sword, right? I think that's what makes us successful
Yeah.
in the traditional sense. It also makes the nation successful in that we're always prepared. But
Yes.
um, I guess the downside of it is we're always hyper vigilant.
Yeah, and you're always very stressed about it as
Yeah,
well. And I think
yeah,
certain times you're like, okay, I'm saving, I'm not buying certain things, I'm not
yes,
going on these experiences,
yes.
but I don't know what I'm sacrificing for.
A very
Yeah.
anti-YOLO sort of life.
Yeah. Yeah. Which can be quite painful.
I
So
don't know,
yeah.
but I don't know. I think I mean, knowing you as a friend, not that
Yeah.
I know you super duper long. Knowing you as a friend, you're not exactly the sort of person who are skipping life experiences because I know you do go out and have fun.
Yes.
You do splurge
Yes.
occasionally on within your means
Yes.
and so yeah, it doesn't have to be one or another, right? I'm just saying maybe a bit of a balance
That is
is
true.
good. So tell us tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like what brought you to London? Why do you think that this place is a good place for you to settle?
So yeah, like I mentioned, I moved to London 3 years ago. I've been
Mm.
working in my current industry. I'm working tech right now, and I've been working in the industry for I think about 7 years now.
Mm.
So about 3 years ago, when I was with my previous company back in Singapore, I managed to get a job offer to move to London. And I think back at that point, it did not really like moving overseas wasn't really in my head. But
Mm.
when I got the offer to move to London, I was like, hey, why not? There's a company that's willing to like sponsor me and relocate me.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything turns out not so great, there's always a chance I go back to
Yeah.
Singapore and like
Yeah.
there's plenty of jobs back home.
Mm.
And after I moved to London, one thing I knew for certain is that I wanted to move to a city that's diverse. I wanted to move to a city, not like a small sleepy town. And I wanted somewhere, of course, that was like secure and safe. So London was quite high on the list. But what was interesting was that before I moved to London, I actually have never visited London before. So I remember coming in the dead of winter, and I was like very excited to go and see your movie version of London, but then all I saw was like dead trees because
Date
it was in
trees,
winter.
gray sky,
Yeah.
and that cold blast of air in your face. You're
And I
like,
was like, oh. So I think first year in London was honestly quite miserable because of
oh,
like I came during winter, and
mm,
then compared to Singapore, there's a lot of like differences that you don't realize about, and
mm.
I did not realize like tax would be a lot more than I thought. Coming from Singapore as well, there's so many more to that. But after the first year, I kind of saw beyond that. Like I started making
Mm.
much more friends. I started going out a lot more, and
Yeah.
I started admiring the diversity here in London.
Mm.
Like you really get people from all over the world,
Oh yeah.
and people here are very, I would say, very creative, very carefree as well. It's like yes, we are working, but at the same time we are living as well.
Especially in this part of London. We're talking
Yes,
about East
East
London,
London.
where you have a lot of creative people and a lot of hipster and a lot of tech people at the same time, all in a melting pot. So I think that's the beauty of East London.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
it's interesting when you compare, let's say, Singapore and here, right? I think a lot of, because I work with a lot of Singaporeans who buy properties in London, be it for their own use or for investment.
Yeah.
What are some of the shocks that when you first heard about it, you go, hmm?
Oh gosh, I think the first shock is whenever I talk to people about buying a property here,
Yeah.
everybody has like a horror story to share.
Oh, yes.
Everybody
Oh, yes.
is like
Maybe
warning
one
me.
day I'll do a series of horror stories of buying properties in the UK. There's like, things that can exist? Oh, yeah, they do exist.
Yes. I remember I was telling my one of my colleague that hey, I'm buying a property here in London,
Mm,
and I think
mm,
it should complete, I should exchange and complete within like 4 months, and
mm.
she literally laughed at me at that spot.
4 months is not unheard of. I mean, I completed mine in 4 months. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I get paid to do. I manage the conveyancer. I'm like, hey.
Yes, Vivian is very good at that.
So, and she laughed at you,
She laughed at me.
unfortunately.
Yeah, at the point of time, I thought, okay, why is she being like a bit rude? But then I think my whole process took, gosh, I don't know, almost eight,
Yeah.
9 months.
Yeah. Yours was about 8 months, eight, nine
Yeah,
months. Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's just crazy because
Mm.
you just run into issues after issues, and I mean, coming from Singapore, especially, a lot of the dealing with like bureaucracy, dealing with the government
Mm,
is very
mm,
efficient. The
mm,
paperwork is very efficient. A lot of it
mm,
is like digital.
mm.
But over here, you are dealing with things like, oh, there's this thing that was signed, I don't know, like 50,
50 years
60 years ago
ago.
that's like affecting me right now. And I don't even know if the organization still
Yeah,
exists.
yeah.
So I think that's like the most shocking thing
I mean,
about it.
I can sympathize. I can, if I were to look at it from the other side, I can understand why conveyancing process takes so long in the
Yeah.
UK. I mean, it is an old country. I mean, it has
Mm,
records that go back to 1,000 years in the Doomsday Book,
yeah.
and things were very different back then. So a lot of the paperwork were done, all throughout the last few decades, last few centuries. And also you have properties that are very different, right? In
Yeah.
Singapore, we're dealing with the HDB flat or condominiums, or if you're a bit more well off, you have the landed property and the good class bungalow. In London, you have factory conversion in East London, for
Yeah.
example. So it used to be a factory, and then there's a change of use. So that's one piece of paperwork.
Yes.
And then the big factory is divided into maybe 20 different flats. That's another piece of paperwork. And where do you draw the line? And you say, okay, this inch is my land, and this inch is your flat. And then there's just a lot more complexity,
Yeah.
and there's freehold leasehold, obviously, which is not dissimilar to Singapore, but the leasehold here can be a lot more complex, in my opinion.
Yes.
Whereas the leasehold in Singapore is just you buy it from the HDB and you're a leaseholder, and the freeholder is there. And I think in Singapore that's just 99 years versus 999, which in Singaporeans consider it as good as
Yeah.
freehold. But over here, if it's 999, it's still considered leasehold. And then there's service charge and ground
Oh
rent
gosh.
on top. So
Yeah.
then you kind of go, oh, okay, so it's different.
Yeah.
And then you can extend your leasehold. So a lot of complexity. And but we ran into some funny issues about freehold versus leasehold,
Yes.
which was the second surprise.
Yeah, so I was viewing a bunch of properties, and like Vivian was there guiding me and helping me with like the viewings as
We'll
well.
go into that one a
Yeah.
bit later.
Yeah. But one of the first property I viewed was like a leasehold, and then for this property that I viewed and I bought is a freehold. So at first I thought, okay, freehold it'll be a lot simpler, there'll
Yeah.
be less paperwork. But then one of the things that really threw us off guard was that there was this thing called the rent charge that was applicable to this property. And what was complicated there was that because the rent charge exists in its current form, the bank did not like it because if I did not pay the rent charge, then the rent charge owner is legally they have the power to take back the property. But at the same time, it's very different from service charge because the rent charge owner they don't provide me any service, they don't really give me anything. It's just a very long time ago, this was written on paper, and now I have to like continuously pay them because I'm the owner of this property.
Mm,
So when I heard about it, I was like asking a lawyer, like, "Gosh, okay,
mm,
okay, this sounds serious. How much is it?"
mm.
And she said, "Oh, £1 per year." And it was
They're
I
like,
was like, I was like, can I pay like just £100
yeah,
to get rid of
exactly.
this problem? But
Like,
you can't because like
no,
that's just how the law works here.
yeah.
So that took a very, very long time to resolve because I had to go back to my lawyer, who then had to
Mm,
go back to the seller's
mm.
lawyers, who then had to talk to the rent charge lawyers, and then yeah, they'll be like, no, we don't want to change this, and then we have to go back like, can we do this like option B again? And like, no, we don't want to do that, and that really delayed the whole process for quite a number of months. Yeah.
So did you find out who is the rent charge holder eventually?
Yes, but it felt like it was some holding company. I couldn't find much information about it. I'm like, you know what, it's fine. It's just £1 per year. Just take my one.
Yeah, yours. It's not just the £1 per year. Of
Yeah,
course, you can pay £1 per year.
yeah,
It's just that your mortgage lender
yeah.
feel that this is a liability, and
It
they
is.
the
Yeah,
fact that somebody, if you fail to pay that £1 per year, that somebody has the power to take possession of the property,
yeah,
makes the mortgage lender very uncomfortable.
yes.
And it's strange because I've heard of cases where a freehold property are liable to pay, let's say, a church a
Mm,
sum of money every year, and usually it's £1 per year. They
mm,
don't make it difficult for you. And the church obviously has a historical origin, right?
mm,
In the past, church roof needs to be maintained,
yeah,
and when people back when people were a bit more religious, within the, let's say, 500-meter radius of the
yeah,
church, everybody have to pay £1 per year to the church. So there is a historical reason to it. That's why
yeah.
your case of rent charge was like, but it's not a church. So how does that work?
It just felt like some I don't know, commercial entity. And then what was
Mm.
also complicated was that the solicitors, they were saying that, oh, the rent charge owner has a loan that's secured against this rent charge. And I'm like,
Wow.
gosh, I mean, there's only so many properties here.
Yeah.
You're collecting, I don't know what, 10, 50
Pounds a
pounds per
year.
year. Like, what kind of loan are you getting? But I'm like, okay, you know what? It's fine. Let's just deal with it.
And eventually you got through. You got through
Yeah,
the paperwork,
very much worth it.
and very much worth the trouble because you have a freehold property with a beautiful garden, and I'll show shots of the garden later in East London.
Yes.
In fact, I mean, this is as good as this is effectively Shoreditch. I want to say this is a fringe of Shoreditch, but it's about what 8 minutes walk to Shoreditch.
Yeah.
Like we're 8 minutes walk to Shoreditch.
Yeah.
We're neighbors, you see. So
Yeah.
like we're neighbors, and 8 minutes walk to Shoreditch. You are, and you're not even 30 years old yet.
In a few months. In a few
A
months.
few months, okay. So we'll come around. There's
Yeah.
a place for birthday party.
Yeah.
So you're not even 30 years old yet, and you already got, well, effectively a freehold property in prime central London.
Yes. Thank you. It's been a long journey. Yes.
Yeah, and the previous property that you viewed, the one in
Uh,
Bethnal Green.
yes. Yeah. So when we started looking, there was a few conditions they were thinking about. First
Yeah.
is that my partner, he really loves plants,
Mm,
gardening. So we were looking
mm,
for like a big, nice outdoor garden.
mm,
And the second thing was that I was very concerned with the whole leasehold versus
mm,
freehold thing because I was very concerned with like ground rent
mm,
and service charge.
mm,
Because right now there's a lot of conversation around like, hey, my service charge is like spiraling.
mm,
They're not really
mm,
providing any services. Yes, there's new legislation that's coming in, but we don't know to
mm,
what effect that will
mm,
change things and when that's exactly coming. So and also I was very wary about buying a property that was like stretching me too much.
mm, mm.
Um, so with that considerations in mind, the first property we saw was like is it what called ex council?
It's an ex local
Ex
council.
council flat
Yeah.
in Bethnal Green. It was a ground floor flat
Mention it. Yeah.
mansionette, and
Yeah.
then with like a nice open garden. So when we first viewed it, it was like within our budget.
Mm,
Bethnal Green, we have not lived at yet, but it was like a stone throw away from where we were at, so we were
mm,
like quite comfortable with the neighborhood.
mm,
It's still East London after all, so very
mm,
happy with that.
mm,
But then it would require a bit of like renovation. Like for example, the living room and the kitchen was like two separate different rooms, so we had to like
mm,
knock down the wall. And then the toilet bowl like room and like the
mm,
sink, I think was like, oh sorry, shower was like two different rooms as well, which was
mm,
quite common for older ex council flats. So
mm,
there was a bit of work we had to do there. Um, and I remember going in. I think that was, I don't know, like one of our fifth to eighth property that we saw. I wouldn't say we super loved it, but out of the ones we saw, it was like one of the higher ones
Because
on
the rest
our.
was so bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I put an offer, but I remember putting an offer that was below the asking price because
Because Vivian told you to.
yeah, thankfully under the guidance of Vivian, I was like,
Because Vivian
yeah,
is like, no, do not overbid. I can, even though you said that you weren't super keen on the
yeah,
property, I felt that you were falling in love with that property already.
yeah. I was like kind of visualizing it, like okay, if I knock down the wall, I do it up, and then
Mm,
plus the garden was like really nice and it was receiving quite a bit of
mm,
sun.
mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
so I could visualize like a really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and also there was I think like two other neighbors that knocked down the walls,
Yes.
done it out really nice, and I
Yeah.
think I was like visualizing and fantasizing about the life based on those pictures.
Yeah. When I see my friends or clients starting to visualize, they said, "Oh, this thing is less than ideal, but I can do this and make it work." If I hear that and I go, "Okay, darling,
Pull back, pull
darling,
back.
chill."
Yeah, but thankfully you were there. I think during the second viewing.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and then you were
Yeah.
asking like a lot of strategic questions
Yeah.
and like trying to suss out
Yeah.
where's
I
the
was
owner
trying to
going.
I was trying to nitpick the property, and there were
Yeah.
actually quite a lot of places to nitpick.
Yeah.
And I knew what the estate agents were trying to do. The estate agent was trying to do an open house. They were trying to meet the buyers bid against each other, which they did in the end. And I was worried that you might go down that track of overbidding
Yeah.
for a leasehold property.
Yeah.
If you would like to learn how to navigate the complicated home buying process here in the UK, just like Andrew did, I would highly recommend you to sign up for my online course at the link below. I have over 10 years of global experience in the real estate industry, in addition to being a Stanford trained negotiator. In this course, I combine all my knowledge about the UK residential real estate market, as well as my personal experience buying 2 homes here in the UK. Of course, I'm not going to let you go without teaching you some tricks that I learned in Stanford on how to negotiate the best price for yourself. With this course, you can easily save hundreds, if not thousands and tens of thousands of pounds when you buy a property here in the UK. I hope to see you in this course. And I think for your budget, I was reasonably confident that you can get an even better location. So Bethnal Green is great. I personally love the vibe of Bethnal Green, but Bethnal Green has also been on a gentrification journey for the past 20 years. If a place that has been on gentrification journey for the past 20 years, it means it's not exactly getting there, right? Don't get me wrong. I used to volunteer in the Oxford and Bethnal Green, and I love that area. But to live, there is this question mark of would it degenerate in a few years' time if the economy is not doing that well. And so I asked you to underbid. You probably hated me when you lost the deal, and I kind of knew you would hate me when you're like, I asked you to underbid, and now I can't move into my dream home.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a dream home. I think looking back, it was definitely a right decision. So I'm very happy about that. Outcome.
And then you came across this within 2 weeks' time, I think.
Yeah, it was quite interesting because I first saw the property on Rightmove and I saw the pictures. I was like, oh, this is really nice, but also it was at the top end of my budget. And I don't know, I saw it and I loved it, but I was like, okay, if this property is so nice, I don't think I can get it,
Oh, because you were worried that it might be a bidding war again.
Yeah, and also it was the top end of my budget, and I was like, okay, if I do get this property, but if any misfortune were to happen to me, like I'll really struggle. But then when you send me the link and like independently you're telling me, hey, I think like this might be a nice property for you, I was like, okay, I think.
And it's a leasehold. Sorry, it's a freehold. For a bit more money, it's a freehold.
Yes, yeah, it wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
And in one of the pictures, you can see the garden, which is like really nice and long and really green. And I was like, gosh, okay, if Vivian's telling me, then maybe let's just give it a view and see what happens.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with East London, right? You tell me a street on East London, I would know. I might even know the exact house. And I think, and also just purely from a transport point of view, if you're thinking about the value of the property from a transport point of view, this is closer to Whitechapel station, which is a much better station than Bethnal Green.
Yes.
And so much, which is why I thought, in terms of value for money, yes, I know this is going to stretch your finances a little bit, but long term wise, this is a good investment.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Yeah.
It's okay. I was okay for you to hate me for 2 days. It's fine.
No hate. Don't worry.
No, see, I still get invited back, right? So I think I'm doing an okay job.
Yes.
So yeah, and then 8 months of conveyancing.
Yeah, gosh, it was quite funny because initially, like I was saying, the asking price for this house was like really stretching my budget. So
Mm,
initially, I was thinking like, yeah, I was still living in my previous flat, and it
mm,
was like a 2 years contract lease. And you know what? Like if we got this property like within 4 months, we would
mm.
still needed to break our lease.
Break your
So yeah,
lease.
we had to break the lease, and then it'll be like maybe 6 months, or like yeah, 6 to 4 months of it left, and there'll be another cost as well, another headache. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe let's just hopefully this whole process gets delayed a little bit, and I can like use the opportunity to save some money.
You got your wish granted.
Yeah, so I was like, oh damn, I need to be careful what I wish for because it got delayed beyond that 2 years lease, and I had to negotiate with my landlord to
Yeah.
like, hey, can this be a rolling, or like how can we sort this out? Um, but I think it was still fine after all because at least we managed to get it sorted out before the increase in stamp duty, which was,
Mm,
gosh, what was on everybody's
mm,
mind.
mm,
I think we only managed to finish, I think, 3 weeks before the deadline, before the increase.
mhm.
So I was also like very grateful for that. Yeah.
A lot of people were stressed out. There was
Yes, I think the convincing lawyers were like very stressed out
oh
too.
yes, and there was another friend that I helped. Her lawyer went MIA on her.
Oh gosh.
Her conveyancer went MIA on her, and she was stressed out. I mean,
Oh,
her property is a little bit less expensive than yours, but even then, we're still talking about 2,500 pounds
yeah,
of stamp duty. And I
that's
ended
still,
up helping her write a pretty nasty letter to a conveyancer and say, if you don't get this sorted, you either pay out the 2005 or I walk.
yeah.
That's basically what my email said to conveyancer. You get this sorted.
Oh wow. So what happened in the end? Did they
So
manage to sort it
in the
out?
end, they get it sorted out. The
Wow.
conveyancer they managed to finish before the deadline.
Wow,
So
gosh, okay.
yeah,
That's amazing.
sometimes you have to be the nasty person, and
Yes.
I get paid to do that.
There we go.
So, and then the conveyance, and then just before you move in, I remember the first time I saw the flat was this is during still during the conveyancing process. We were doing a walk around,
Yes.
and you were taking measurements of the flat so that you can start planning how to renovate it.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a crack. There was a
Oh
crack in
yes.
the door, in this beautiful floor to ceiling
Yeah.
glass door, and you didn't notice the crack when you came to viewing.
Yeah, for some reason I don't know, I think I was just too in love with the place. I just did not see it.
Yeah, and the crack, you were like, oh, how much is that going to cost you to
Yeah.
fix it, right? And I said, no, the seller can fix it.
Oh yeah, that's true. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. They can fix it before they
The
pass us
seller
the house.
can
Yeah,
fix it
yeah,
because you didn't notice the crack during the viewing.
yeah.
And I think at that time I estimated it's probably about 2,000-3,000 pounds to fix it, but I think I'm not that far off from the ballpark, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what happened was that the seller agreed to give us, I forgot what's the exact term, but basically like a £2,000 allowance.
Mm,
So we will be able to fix the crack, and then when we give them the invoice, they'll pay us back
mm,
for the invoice. But yes,
mm,
we within that £2,000 like limit.
mm, mm.
I think in the end it was like about 1,000 plus,
Yeah.
so not too far off.
Mm,
And I was happy we were still within that £2,000 limit. I think now
mm.
it looks great.
But it's the fact
Yeah.
that that you already agree on the price, and effectively you're getting like 1,500
Yeah.
pounds
Yeah.
discount from the agreed price. So
Yeah.
that's why I say you need to really know the negotiation process.
Yes.
Oh, fun! And then the renovation.
Oh my gosh.
I'll show footages of the renovation, but it's been a fun journey, I
It's
guess.
been a fun and very tired journey. Sorry, tiring journey. So when we first got the keys, we and what we negotiated with my previous landlord was that okay, there'll be a 3 months notice period.
Mm,
So I was like talking to different people, talking to you, and I was like, okay, I should only inform my landlord after I get the keys because anything can happen up to the last moment before we exchange and
mm,
complete, right?
mm,
So that meant that I have a 3 months overlap. And initially I was talking to my partner and we were like, 3 months, plenty of time. We'll do our dream renovation. No, that's not the case. I think it's been about 4.5 months since we got the keys, and right now there's still so many things that's undone because it's like you fix one thing and then you realize that oh, you have to do this like five other things, or like this one thing has like so many other dependencies, and yeah, it's just like a years long process. I would say at this point I've really accepted that fate. Yes.
but I think partly it's also because both of you are very you're
Oh
very
yes.
passionate about design.
Yes.
So you're quite pedantic about how the detail turns out. I remember the story about the flooring.
Yeah.
When I see the flooring, I'm like, but the flooring is perfectly fine. And then you see, but there is this gap here. And I go, yeah, I kid you not, it's a less than 2 millimeter gap.
Very visible once you see it, you always see it.
I'll just put a carpet on top. Just put a carpet on top.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
I think we're also prepared to like live with a bit more mess than like if you have to move into like a high spec like flat. I think we both knew what we were getting into. Just that the timeline for the renovation was like a lot longer than we expected.
I think also because you don't have kids, so
that
it just
is
makes
true.
it easier.
Yeah,
If you have
no
kids, this
kids,
is not
no
feasible.
pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no pets. If you have pets, again, not feasible.
Yeah. So I think also thinking about it, I'm like, gosh, like if we were to do this, I don't know, 5-10 years later, very different life situation. Like maybe this is our once in a lifetime opportunity to just do such massive renovation by ourselves and go through that process, even though it's tiring.
I mean, it's gonna be a forever home,
Yeah.
So you want to make it look nice, especially when you're both so design oriented. You want to come home and you go and you feel proud that you did that yourself.
So I think that was also what's interesting because I'll spend like the whole day doing house renovation, but at the end of the day, yes, I'm tired, but I also feel satisfied.
Oh yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you understand.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Totally.
Yes.
It's been fun. So I look forward to coming here again in a few months' time for your birthday.
Yes. In the end of summer, yay.
Yes, barbecue. Barbecue is always a good idea.
There we go, in the very nice leafy garden.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
It's been a 1-year journey, right? Since we started working together, I think.
Gosh, I think more than 1 year.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. How did I reach out to you? I remember you were in the WhatsApp chat.
I was in the WhatsApp chat, and
Yeah.
I had a house. I had kind of have like an open house for this new build flat. That I was inviting some Singaporeans to come and view. But I did tell them, and I said, look, you really don't have to buy because personally, I don't think new build is a good buy. So I'm really just inviting you to look at beautiful flats, but just please don't buy.
Yeah. But I think what I got really out of the interaction was like you are so knowledgeable and you were like so friendly. You were so open to help.
And I think honest. Like if I don't think that is a good buy, I'll tell you. Like just don't buy.
Yeah. So I mean, I think from that I was like, okay, I can really trust you. And,
yeah.
I think it worked out great.
It was fun. I remember we were in a park and got to know you and Zaki a lot better, and also got to know your home buying journey. And I think at that time I moved into my flat maybe about only a few months before I met you. So I was fresh on that journey. Obviously, that's my second iteration in London already, and so yeah, a lot of knowledge to share.
Yeah, very valuable knowledge.
Okay,
so
well,
so much.
That's fun. Thank you so much, Andrew. This is a fun interview. I might do more with other people. We'll see, but definitely the first one.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
It's gonna be really like super chill, like two friends talking. But of course,
Yeah.
don't say anything that you don't want to be on camera. Like
Yeah. Okay.
like
got it.
yeah, I move into this address. Like no.
Yeah.